So your blessing is in the assignment. Everything you need is in the assignment. Somebody like me, I pursue a very strange and complicated ministry that you can't even begin to define it. God said to me, I'm going to make you a wing that people will only see you manifest. There is no standard in which you will put me that I fit into it. There is no standard. I've seen pastors come to meet me. How do you do this? How do you do this? How do you make money? How do you run this? Since you are not running a denomination, how do you do this? How do you do that? I said, no, my prosperity is in the calling. So may all man stand fine. So one of the essence of ministers' conference like this is to explain the imperatives of your calling so you understand it better. You understand what I'm saying? So going into the historical factors of Cameroon as a church. In 1913, a prophecy was released about this nation in Azusa Street Revival, where a prophet by name Simeon began to prophesy. He went into Africa and said, I see Africa like the shape of a gun. And I see the indices as a trigger. The nation, Cameroon was not yet a country. It wasn't a country yet. It wasn't a country. So the war you see, the war and the fight, it is an attack on the destiny of the nation of Cameroon. Because that time has started coming. Cameroon has exhibited the colors. We have seen yellow color manifesting. We are now in red, but we are soon stepping into the green color. You understand what I'm saying? Prophetically, we are soon getting into the green, where the righteousness shall sit in power, and the head of the church will be lifted from the bearing and strangulating waters. That is when you will understand that it is time for you to position yourself, because in the years ahead, the glory of the church will be expressed on the hills and the mountains. That prophecy that was said in Micah and was said in Isaiah, echoed by a major prophet and then re-echoed again by a minor prophet, where Bible says, King shall run unto the mountains and meet the priest and demand, say, show us. The glory of the church is already within the tunnel end, and some of us will not see it. I know for one that some of us will not be around when that happens, because we are just here like we are just ushering something, and then we quit the stage. There is a generation that will step into glory. This thing you are seeing is just a seed. There is a generation that is incubated now in the cave. Those are the people that God is lighting fire in their tails like little foxes in hidden corners. By the time they will be released, I tell you, it will be a multiplier effect. So what you see happening is just an encouragement for you to believe that a generation started it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That is what gave Paul the impetus to make statements in the presence of his elders. He said, I have laid the foundation. How dare you make such a statement in the presence of Peter? People that saw Jesus physically, people that walk with Christ, did not dare to say that. You came into the fold, you say you have laid foundation. Which foundation? With which blocks? On which piece of land? With which blueprint? So there are people that God ushers to start something. Yeah, so I know that some of us may not be around for too long. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us are just here to just provoke a consciousness and then quit the stage, because I'm already seeing that generation. I saw the prophet when he came to preach for us. The first statement he made, he mentioned the name of a patriarch that got me scared, Kenneth Copeland. He said it in Limba, and I have written it, and I'm watching carefully for that prophecy. In case you don't know, even Papa Deboye, as I'm talking to you, a telegram has already been sent to all the churches to start praying for a successor, because he's transiting. Generations are quitting the stage. Are the Joshuas ready? That is the question. If you look at all the great men of God in Nigeria, they are within the age of 65, 75, 80. All the fathers, the gatekeepers. And some of them are already getting signals of their harvesting. So all of them have stopped preaching the things they used to preach. They are now gotten back into grounding the church, because there is a foundation that must be prepared for the next generation to step on it. When the Bible says that the glory of the later house shall be greater than that of the former, it means the former has to be the foundation that the later will climb on top to be greater. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So some of us are the former generations, and we are willing to lay down our backs and our shoulders so that the generation can climb on top of it, but we are afraid, because the way that this young generation is running, that's why I say they don't have wings and tires, and the engine has been removed, but they are on high speed. They are on high speed, and because some of them don't know history, they don't know history, and when you don't know history, You know only geography. You will not be admitted in the university. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So there is a generation. They are already praying for transition. Fathers are already picking the signals. God is telling them, prepare the house. Do you know who Adeboye is? Do you know who that father is? That is one wall in Nigeria that when it falls, it's like 3/4 of the church has fallen. So if fathers like that are beginning to release parchments into the priesthood that people should pray for succession, that they are transitioning. He took over power in 1975 when Josiah Ofeni Akindoyami, the founder of Redeemed Christian Church. And I hope you know Redeemed was a C&S church. I hope you know it was a cherubim and seraphim. Redeemed was cherubim and seraphim. Trem was cherubim and seraphim. I'm giving people history because this lameness began from the home. So we must go back to history to understand why the church in Cameroon is still crippled at this stage. You must know history. This move has already entered into East Africa. It left Nigeria, it has entered into Ghana, it went into Kenya, but I don't know what is resisting it from entering into Cameroon. Why? Because some of us have not come of age. We are still adults with baby teeth, and we relax over trivialities, and we enter into our comfort zone so early when there is an expectation from God and is looking at the readiness of the church, and we are still joking around our small empires, making noise and confusing God in the midst of his people. There is a generation that is being prepared. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Focus on me. There is a generation. There is a generation. The church in Nigeria has already understood it. 2009, I was in Warri at Jamimoga, Word of Life. That was the 10th biennial conference of PFN, where I saw the leadership of the church sitting. That was when the Archbishop just died in 98, and Baba Ayo, Michael Congo, took over leadership. And the church gave birth to CAN. The structure is already being formed, and Nigeria is as strong as whatever you can imagine because of the principle of unity. But in Cameroon here, Peter and John don't go up together. Bible says Peter and John walk up together. We mistake in Cameroon. Our togetherness is not unity, it's survival of the fittest. It's not unity, it's survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. Peter and John in Cameroon, they are yet to come to an agreement. God gave me a vision to begin Cameroon Pentecostal Ministers Forum, and when I launched that vision, I gathered my generation. They said, you should be president. I said, no, I will not be president. Let me just transfer the motion and let somebody else pick up the baton. And by the time the baton was picked up, people began to lose their life, and some people began to call us cult men. Why? Because some of us are conscious of the labor room that we need to prepare for the next generation. Something is wrong somewhere, because Jacob has refused to accept that Esau is the elder brother. So he's trying to cheat his dispensation by putting extra beards on his head to look older, submitting to people we submit to, trying to dodge a generation, But the mistake is the prophecy had already made him the elder. And let me tell you what you don't even know. That prophecy was not saying that he was going to be bigger than his brother. He was talking about from one generation to another. He said the younger, the older shall serve the younger. It is from generation to generation. So he didn't need to struggle. It is a natural thing that the elder ones should wish that the younger ones become better than them. Because it's not like they were twin. They were twin, but one was a senior. Because in Genesis 32, when they were fighting, when Esau showed up, Esau was not a poor man. He had everything that he needed. So I don't know if he was cursed. So you don't need to fake things to look older than your generation. You don't need to connect to a place for people to see you. Most of the things we do is physical. Just like what the prophet was saying today. We are just being carnal. The way we do ministry, we do it like business people. That is not the kind of foundation that the Cameroonian church needs to. If you read the parables of Jesus, 85% of all the parables of Jesus was geared towards agriculture, because that was a major economic activity of the time. Every nation has its peculiarities. Don't adopt something, it may not work here. What is a fixed there may be a variable in Cameroon. So you must understand your own nation so that you set the right foundation. That's why I'm going back to the foundation, because this cripple, this church from the womb was born crippled. And let me tell you, if you are pregnant and you don't have strength to travel, it's the same as barrenness. That is why I'm preaching on the traveling church, because many